Hello guys, Norfolk Tool Guy here again. So, been a while, isn't it? It's been a hot minute, as they say. But I'm going to try and get back to fairly regular videos and putting out content for you guys. I know I sort of kickstarted my Instagram again fairly recently, but it's just been a wild couple of months with the new job and everything, and prepping and getting everything ready for the wedding. So, but yeah, I'm going to try and be back as much as I can. Keep trying to get content out. Keep trying to improve. Get tool restorations out as well. I feel like I've sort of fallen off the bandwagon a little bit and need to catch myself back up. So what I've been doing for the last I've still been going out collecting tools and buying bits and pieces here and there. My dad's been helping me out a lot. And I've just been storing everything in this big trunk that you may have seen in a previous video. And basically I'm just going to run through everything I've got there, a couple of other things, and then some future plans for the channel. And hopefully we'll cover that all in today's video. It might be a bit of waffling because I'm a bit out of sync with doing this. I feel like I'm probably going to say a lot and forget what I'm saying and get confused. But yeah, let's crack on. We'll get into it, and then I'll show you what I've got. So first of all, out of the case is just a few of the bigger items sitting on top. We'll start with this, which I picked up at the garage sale in my local village last year. I think it was September time, near the end of the summer. So this is an in-box Stanley 805 8mm or 5/16 hand drill, egg beater drill. Box is in fairly good condition. There's a bit of something's obviously dripped on it there, but other than that, the box is in overall good condition. The guy wanted £2 for it, but I think I got it down to a pound, which I think is fair for something like this. It's not particularly old, but I do like Stanley products, especially vintage Stanley products. Obviously, it's in hardly any use. Probably a little bit of surface rust from sitting around in the shed for a long period of time. Obviously, the finish on the handle is starting to crack, but I thought, it's there. It's too good to pass up. Might as well grab it. So that's the first item out of the chest. And I've got a couple of planes. I got this one from a car boot seller. This is a record number 120 record block plane. It's in fairly good nick. Just needs probably needs a light restoration. Sand the base flat, make sure that's all nice and smooth. Give the blade a sharpen. But I've been after a semi-decent block plane for a while, just as a user. So I'm going to get this into a usable condition, and then this will be my sort of go-to block plane. We also got at the garage sale from a different seller just around the corner was this Paramo number 10, and this is a Plane Master. I don't know if you guys can make that out. It's a bit hard to get that bit on camera, but it's a Plane Master. UK pattern is 989133, made in England. I think, I haven't got the box for this, but I think originally they were replaceable blades, so you'd get a bunch of different blades that come along with it, and you could swap and change for what you want. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. They're not overly valuable or collectible, but I just thought while it's there, it was cheap as chips, so I couldn't say no to it really. And then we've just got a made in England Marples number, oh, there's a bit of crud on there, number 2050, so mortise gauge with some brass fittings. I can't tell if that's a steel or brass nail there, but I think I've got probably a whole box full of these laying around, vary from Stanley and Marples and various other brands. But you know, when they're there, this was going in the bin at work, so I just grabbed it. There's quite a few things that have been sort of, they were a big clear out of work, so a lot of things are going into the bin. Right, I'll get another bunch out, and that'll be on the screen in just a second. There we go, and now we're on to our second lot from this. There is quite a lot in there, so I haven't sort of missed the beat. I have still been going out and gathering tools, so and my dad here and my mum, they've been great. They've been going to antiques fairs and going around the antique shops, and they sort of know what I like. I like British brands, old Stanley stuff, old Brittle, especially old Brittle gear. So they're always looking for things like that for me. So we'll start with the 2 Brittle torque wrenches that my dad found for me in 2 different antique shops. This one was in his local one, and this one he's been in one that he's been trying to get into for a long time, but he couldn't get hold of the owner. It seemed to always be closed. This was in the window, and then eventually one day it was just open, so that's good news for us. But yeah, this is a Brittle torque wrench. This is a little, not sure what size it is. I can't get to a ruler right now, everything's in the way, but yeah, so it's got the changeable head. This one obviously doesn't fit in there, but swapping around for braking and then torquing. But yeah, I just think these just are an absolute sweetheart, these little, especially these little torque wrenches. And its number is AVT10 or T100-R for the smaller torque wrench. And then we have the larger size here, which is another made by Brittle, England. So I'm just really struggling to get my words out. I just feel like I'm completely out of sync with doing these videos, but we'll try and get there. I'll try and not waffle on too long and keep you guys all night. But this number is EVT600RR, and I just think they're just absolutely. There's a bit of a bend in this one. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to straighten it out, but I just think these are absolutely fantastic pieces of kit. So that'll happily go into my Brittle drawer over in my toolbox. Another interesting find that I got on the car boot last year was this Wesco grease gun. I did take it apart just to see if there was any old grease in it, but it is empty. But I'm just glad that it's still got the original sticker, and this is Wesco AE Westwood Limited, Birmingham, England. So another English brand. So should clean up nicely. I'm going to try and preserve. I don't want to do this as a bare metal because I want to keep the sticker. So I'm going to just try and knock off most of the rust, and then go from there and try and save the paint as much as I can, really. This is from the same seller I got the block plane from, and this is just a Stanley number 51 spoke shave, which I think is a fairly common spoke shave. But what interests me most in it was see if you guys can make this out. It has a Stanley Sweetheart blade in it, so a Sweetheart made in the USA blade, and that's what sweetened the deal. I think I paid a couple of quid for this, but online obviously they go for a lot more. But I was just so happy to find one with a Sweetheart blade. I've got a pair of these somewhere, an older pair, and my dad found them for me again. These are glazier pliers or glass pliers. These are Elliott Lucas ones. So these are basically in almost unused condition, I'd imagine, because the paint on the handles is still absolutely fantastic. You got Elliott Lucas here. The other ones I've got, Elliott Lucas is engraved, so they're definitely a little bit older than these. But yeah, I just thought I collect Elliott Lucas pliers, and always happy to add another pair to the collection. So they're fantastic. Got a couple of screwdrivers here. I think they're all Stanley apart from this one, this long cabinet maker screwdriver, which is a Sorby. So it's a Sorby England. It's really hard to get the focus right today. I'm trying to work on the lighting in here, but yeah, it's a nice long handle cabinet maker's gun maker's screwdriver. On this side it just says cross ground point skid proof, which I've never actually seen that on an old Sorby cabinet maker screwdriver before. So I'm guessing they if I gave her the big pile I've got behind me a clean, I'll probably find more things like that. And then we've got a Stanley. These are, the Stanley sort of wood handle cabinet maker screwdrivers, normally all black with the plastic, the yellow ring and the ferrule here. It's a little bit too rusty to make out the number, but it does say Stanley made in England up here. Not that I think you guys will be able to see, because I can't get the camera to focus to save my life today, which is almost my luck. And then I've got one of this screwdriver as well, the Stanley England, or just Stanley England. There's no model number on this, but I know these are like the Handyman series or something like that in over in the States. They're quite a sought after screwdriver, I think, over there. But yeah, I just absolutely love the shape. It feels really good in the hand. I've never seen any of these over here. I've never seen any for sale, and I just found this at the car boot and was over the moon with it, to be fair, because I just think it's such a fantastic shape. And then last but not least, we've got this little Stanley 63-317 3mm, made in England, very fine tip screwdriver. So for, I don't know, electronics work or anything like that. But yeah, another fantastic Stanley screwdriver. Right, I'll dig out some more and then we'll carry on. Right, I'm trying to speed up the process by, instead of dragging everything out, doing these little snapshots where I unload a couple of things so I don't keep you here all day. And it also feels like it makes it easier if you're not interested in something, you can skip ahead and find something you're a little bit more interested in. But I try and give a varied description of everything I found. So yeah, we're on to, I don't know, load 3 from, there's still so much to go. We could be here a while. If I feel like the video is getting too long, I might split it up into 2 videos, just do a continuation part. So yeah, on the next load is a lot of pairs of pliers, but we'll start with this. I thought I got all the screwdrivers, but it's just one of those sort of old car toolkit, motorcycle toolkit wire screwdrivers, which I just, every time I see them I pick them up because I just think they're great. I've got this little one up here, which on the side it says Miller's Magneto on the side. Obviously I'm not going to faff around trying to get it to focus because I'm losing against the focus today, but I'm sure I'll work out how to get it to focus better. I know normally you could hold your hand behind it and it would come into frame a bit better, but yeah. So the wire handle screwdriver, we've got a couple of utility knives and pad saw handles. So this is an Eclipse pad saw handle made in England, in reasonably good nick. Obviously use Eclipse hacksaw blades and frames. I do have one very similar to this, but this one's just everything pops. The one I have is a lot more battered, so this might end up replacing it in my collection of Eclipse tools. And then we've got this Raybone Chesterman utility knife. It's just a fixed blade one, made in England on this side. I just think it's a great little knife. I love the shape of, I think someone's reprofiled the Stanley blade. I'm not sure if that's a factory blade or not, but I just think that's a fantastic looking blade as well. It looks really good in this knife. We'll run through the pliers and then we'll get to these pistol grip hacksaws. So this was sent to me by Lazy Dog Woodshed. He's a fellow Instagrammer, and we sort of try and send each other things. To be fair, I've got some things that Chris might be interested in, so I need to message him and see if he wants any of these little King Dick bits and pieces. But yeah, this is just another Elliot Lucas Elect Canuck England pair of pliers, sort of combination pliers, linesman pliers, ultra tensile. I can't quite make out the number, a little bit rusty, but we'll get to cleaning these up later on. And then I think these are really interesting. You know, I've got a small collection of Dynalloy tools, not quite as much as Mr. John Fix or Jim over at Hand Tool Restorations has, but this is a pair of Dynalloy C18 made in the USA slip joint pliers. What I find really interesting about these is this setup going on here. I'm not sure if they're screw extracting pliers, which I've seen some videos on recently, or if there's a specific purpose for this type of. There's no teeth or anything for gripping, so it just seems like quite an interesting design. So if anyone knows possibly what these pliers could be used for, maybe Jim or John might have knowing a bit more, might have an explanation for these. I think they could be screw extraction pliers, but don't hold me to that. But I just think, yeah, they're great. They're about 8 inches long, so it's a nice size, nice comfortable grip in the hand. And then another brand that Jim loves is Diamond brand. I've got these 8-inch Diamond brand slip joint pliers. Not quite as well made as the Dynalloys, but I still think for the earlier Chinese tools that used to sort of come over here into the UK, Diamond brand stuff isn't all that bad, to be fair. But yeah, it's just a nice Diamond brand set of slip joint pliers, and then we've got Toyota slip joint pliers. I only picked these up because these just seem to, you get them cheap and they seem to sell really well on eBay. People restoring old Toyotas and wanting to rebuild the toolkit. These are great for that. These are an interesting sort of set of nippers, cutters. They are made in Sweden. They're E-Skills or Eskilstuna. Try and get it to focus. Not quite, but yeah, just a nifty pair. But they've got a strange coating on it. I don't know if that's factory or someone's just sprayed them silver. But yeah, quite interesting. I think they might even be aluminium, but then a lot of surface rust, so maybe not. I don't know. We'll find out. And then these little points and condenser pliers. I think they're from, well, they're military. They are marked, broad arrow marked down here, if it will grow. And it just says FC F-C and G's 1945. And I just think these were too sweet to pass up. I did pay a little bit for these. I think they were about £3 or £4, but for something like that, I'm never going to say no. I just think they're absolutely fantastic. Right, now we'll get onto these two pistol grip saws. This one, the first one, is RM France. I don't really know too much about it. It's quite a light aluminium body. Obviously got an Eclipse blade in it, but yeah, I just think that's just an absolute sweet looking saw. Not seen one before. Don't really know much about RM. I'll have to look them up and see what I can find out about it. But yeah, starting a new pistol grip collection. And then we've got this one. I think Jim has had a few of these. These are the ones with the spring mechanism. I've got patent applied for, but I haven't got any other information on here. There's no patent numbers, no maker's marks or anything like that. It's just patent applied for down here. So I'm sure Jim can give me a bit more information on what these are, or who makes them, what was their purpose. But I just think they're so cool. There we go, lovely. Right, we're getting up to 20 minutes now. It's starting to drag on a bit. So I'll crack on. We'll maybe move on to wrenches. Then I might fit the last few bits into another video that I'll upload sort of as a part 2. There's a few other things I want to run through before the end of this video, so keep with it, guys.